You are listening to the Kentucky X-Files Season 3 with your hosts Dennis Mays, Tyler Stewart, and Josh Gibbs. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also visit us at www.kyxfiles.com. And now, on to our show.
Welcome back, guys, to your Kentucky X-Files. I thought we were doing a power metal thing, like when there's lightning. Well, that's not really. Well,
Watch out! Can't got my heart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Big Mac 103. Sorry. It's Neil, man. It's Neil. Still got it. Still got something. Yeah. So we're changing gears tonight. We're changing gears.
We're dropping gears.
Dropping it down into, I think, what is this? We got a guest, and he's going to tell us about some ghost stuff and paranormal stuff, or UFO.
I remember correctly, it was ghost stuff, like paranormal stuff, and UFO stuff. So
nice.
I don't know how many stories he's got there, but I know he's actually from another podcast. He has his own podcast. We'll let him talk about that. But we heard him off of our one friends from Millennial Sucks.
Okay.
And we just hey, he's a local guy. Come on, let's throw him on the show because we want to hear you guys' stories. So I kind of reached out for him a while ago, and finally we can link up and get him on the show.
That sounds good to aligned. Yeah. You guys out there watching and listening, I need you to do me a favor. Okay? I need you to rate this show. If you don't like the show, only give it 4.5 stars. Okay? If you like this show, just go ahead and give it that extra, make it a 5-star. You can write what you like about the show if you want to, and do that. Rate it. It helps. Believe it or not, it helps a lot. And if you're on YouTube and you're lurking, which I know a lot of you are, you rascals, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this thing, because if you don't, well, I to be honest with you, I didn't think this far into my speech. So I just please do it, because it helps us a lot, and we appreciate it. And I love you. I mean it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
your background really just makes your eyes pop right now. You're selling it, man. You're selling it. I feel like you're looking into my soul.
What is that? What is that behind you? Is that your space station?
That's my space station. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, are you on a walk right now?
I am actually reporting to you guys from outer space right now. It took a lot. I had to buy a really long LAN cable to get my computer up here, which is why you should subscribe, because it's going to help. And you know what I mean? It helps me pay for a new LAN cable, because you never know. Meteor could take this one out. I really should have ordered that fake astronaut helmet that I saw to sell this, because I don't feel like anybody's going to believe it. Even though I've got top of the line effects going on right now.
Top of the line.
Yeah.
Top of the line effects.
Top.
So yeah.
Top shelf.
I just wanted to get that out, because we never do. We never say it. We're never like, hey, you should go and rate this show, or you should subscribe. We never say it.
I feel like they know they can. I don't know. I've always been that person where I'm like, if you like the show, you know what you need to do.
Send us $1,000.
God dang it! Where's the mute button? Mutes. Nope. Don't send us $1,000. Sorry, Josh. You're guilty by association.
I'm gonna make a fucking sign.
You see how that works?
Wait.
I didn't say a damn thing.
And
but
still got me.
I feel like you would have joined it like this.
See, let me just explain something, how that works. Oh, God. Finally.
This is bullshit.
Yeah. No one should have gave us control over each other's mics.
Nope.
It was a dangerous decision. Yeah. Man, oh, man.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think he just popped into the show. So, you know what? Let's get him in here and hear what he has to say.
There you go.
What's up, Patrick?
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Glad to have you.
Absolutely. I love everybody's backgrounds. Someone's in space, someone's in the dark. Man, I don't know where to look.
I'm actually reporting from space, so I apologize if there's a little latency issue.
There we go.
Yeah. So it's believe it or not, it's super quiet up here. But since the distance from Earth, the signal, it might take a little bit to get you guys to me and back, but we're doing what we have to.
Dude, he's totally regretting joining this.
Yeah. So we heard you on the Millennial Suck podcast a while back, and we heard some mention of some extraordinary things that happened or that you experienced. And I sent a message to Tyler and was like, hey, you know what? We should totally poach this guy and get him on our show so we can hear this for ourselves because, the Millennials Suck. We love those guys. But, come on. The weird stuff is our domain. Yeah. we want to hear, we want to know what happened. And if you would tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I could tell you all kinds of wild things. Now, it's hard to explain. And can you guys hear me okay? Is that okay over here?
Yeah, for the most, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure. So, whenever, I don't want to say I believe in the supernatural really, but I can say that I definitely feel like vibes. You know what I mean? Like you can tell your body gets that fight or flight kind of, you know what I mean? Where you just get in that instinctual kind of mode. And just weird things happen. So, but when I tell the stories, like they sound so ridiculous to people, and they'll laugh at me, and I'm like, well, it happened. I don't know what to tell you. So, when I was about, I don't know, I want to say like 13 or something, I had a house fire. It was crazy. When this house fire happened, it was my childhood home, so I grew up in it. And this house fire, when it happened, it was kind of like the perfect storm. My parents just got back from Hawaii. This all leads up to the later thing. They just got back from Hawaii. They put a bunch of stuff on top of the stove. My brother was 2 years old. He turned on the stove. I had fireworks on top of my refrigerator. So bad recipe. So the house burnt down. I was so young. It didn't really matter so much to me. So I just had to deal with it until the house was rebuilt. So they rebuilt the house, and ever since then, just weird things would happen that I couldn't just really explain, I would say. Like, I don't know if it was night terrors. I don't know if I was just seeing things, because I don't know if you've all been petrified before, but it's like you just cannot move. You don't know what's going on. I can't remember what you would sleep paralysis. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I never know what was happening. You know what I mean? So what I saw and what I remember, even though what happened burned into my mind, I retained it all. And it's like, I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was. I used to host a podcast called The Bastard Sermon once upon a time. And we had a couple of people that were like ghost adventurers and ghost hunters and stuff. And I tried telling the story, and it's just like, man, does this sound crazy? Do I sound crazy just like talking about this right now?
And what was the show called?
The Bastard Sermon. It was like a dark comedy podcast. We had people from like reality shows on. We had the show's no longer around. I left that a couple years ago. But reality people, crime scene cleanups, things like that, and like ghost adventures, musicians, tattoo artists, and so forth. Gotcha. It's kind of like a bro pod. But we would always try to get someone unique and interesting on. So we would have people that like, let's say there's like cryptids or people that believe. I have a poster back here actually from like a flat earther, because like this guy, he wrote this. He brought this New World Order map and he wrote NASA lies on it. And I wonder if people, when they come in here, think I'm one of those guys. I'm just like, no. He was interesting. He was interesting to talk to.
Yeah.
So back to what was going on with the house. So the house got rebuilt. I was a teenager at the time. I had the whole upstairs to myself. This had hardwood floors everywhere, so you'd hear creaks and all kinds of shit going on in the house. So one night, I remember I actually had I had a female friend over. Let's say we were watching Max Payne, starring Mark Wahlberg. It was just really dark in the room. I had a downstairs that went into like the main living room. I hope this layout makes sense. It's like dark down a corridor down to like a door down the stairs. Yeah, basically. Sometimes my brother, he would like to just kind of be a little creep, you know, so he'd try to like sneak up on you. You know, he's 12 years younger than me. I'm 32 now, he's 20, but at this time I was a teenager, so he was like 3 or 4 or something like that. So I would always think he was like creeping up on me and be like, Mitch, that's his name, go downstairs, man. You know, don't come up here. Yeah. What are you, stop it. You're not tricking anyone. But this was the first time I ever had like a weird experience. So since I had hardwood floors and the stairs were hardwood, you know, I could hear him creeping up the stairs because the floorboards would creak as you're walking up, just putting a little bit of weight on them. And you just get that like kind of thick sense like, oh, someone just walked in the room. You know what I mean? So I was like, Mitch, go back downstairs. Like, don't come up here. And there was no answer. So I said, Mitch, and no answer. So I get up and I like go, oh, it's giving me the chills. It's giving me the chills every time I tell these stories because it's like I'm totally reliving it in my mind. So I go to the stairs and I'm looking down the stairs, but it is pitch black down at the bottom of it. And I was like, it was just creepy as hell. And I was like, Mitch? And then you hear like this huge creak on the stairs. It was the freakiest shit ever. It like, I just went right back to where I was sitting and I was like, and I turned the light on ASAP and I was like, what, you want to go to McDonald's or something? I don't know. You want to get the hell out of here just to get the fuck out of the house, you know? But that was like the creepiest thing. I can't like describe, like me describing it does not put how creepy it really was into words. Just having this old house, you would just hear like what would sound like footsteps downstairs. It was so weird. This only happened after we rebuilt the house. Oh, it was so freaky. I would sleep with like a bed next to me. Like, what's a knife going to do to a ghost? You know, if it's a ghost, who the hell, it could be a Wendigo for all I know. Something's in the house. So right. I'm like, what am I going to do with the knife? I don't know, but it made me feel better. So there was like other times, like little creepy, there was like big events and I'll get to them, but there was like creepy times where I would come back really late. This all actually happened all the way up from like my 15 to like early 20s when I was playing music full time. So when I went home, you know, that's where I would stay in between like going out and about and whatnot. So when I would come home, no one goes upstairs in my room. It was locked, you know, that was my world. So no one could go up there. And as I drive into my driveway, you'd see the blinds. I would always keep them shut. I don't know. I'm a private person. So I'd keep the blinds shut, but sometimes you'd see them peeked open as like you're driving and you know no one's home. And so as I'm like walking inside, I go upstairs and I'm like, what the fuck? They're shut. This happened so many different times where I would just drive up, you'd see it just peek. You would never see them drop or anything, or like you would leave. I would be about to leave and I'm like kind of paranoid or some shit. So I would like kind of keep them closed and see like maybe if I come back from the store, we'll see if it happens. And every now and then it would. and they would just be peeked open, and I come upstairs, they're shut. It was so creepy. Like, I can't really explain it. It was just like this creepy kind of energy. Like I was being creeped on.
That would be enough for me to be like, what the fuck?
Nope.
Yeah, like, what the fuck is going on right now?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So if it's like all this, are you following this like pretty easily what I'm explaining? Because I'm trying to like remember it all as it happened like 12 plus years ago, because, man, it burned into my mind, but maybe it's a little fuzzy. Like I said, I don't know what I was seeing or hearing. I had some friends that were in the house and creepy things would happen, and they wouldn't tell me about it until I said, dude, did you hear that creepy ass shit last night? And they'll be like, I thought I was the only one. And then they'll tell me their story. So I had this.
I hate that too, man. When a friend tells you later and it just like,
oh, where were you when I was telling that to my parents?
Yeah.
I look like a crazy person. I look like a drug addict.
Right.
So, yeah, they already hate that I play metal music. Like, what? You can't just help me out here? So I had this guy. He was my guitarist. He needed a place to stay. I had my room. I had the whole upstairs, like I was saying. So I had like basically a whole ass apartment up there without a kitchen or bathroom. So I split my room off with like some standing like closets. Yeah, so they're like standing closets and like a mirror. And then on the other side, that would be his bed or whatever. So I let him stay there, and we lived together for like a year and a half. So we moved out together. So, which I could tell you a crazy story. I got to remember that. I got to remember the house after this story. So just had a lot of weird experiences. So he was sitting on his side of the bed, and he said, this is what he told me. I never experienced this, but he said one night, while I was on the opposite side of the room sleeping, and he was on the other side, just like messing with his Android, doing some like messing with the basically trying to encrypt it or something, you know, put games on it and shit. He said that he heard like what sounded like nails going from like one side of the room over by my bed all the way down. It's like maybe the size of 2 school buses down to over his head in the bed. And he didn't tell me that for years until I was like, dude, there was always some crazy shit. I'm so sorry. I have a puppy, and he chewed
good.
his head open, so
good.
stop. I'm so sorry about this.
That's
hey,
okay.
chill.
We're very dog
Relax,
friendly.
chill. It's creepy enough in this house. Yeah, that's enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dog just started barking at nothing.
It's back. They're here.
The dog is going crazy. Princess Ari's going to be abducted by something on cam. That's not true. I'm sorry.
Really do about it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The other dog's barking and not helping. So, yeah, there would just be creepy things like that would happen. I mean, there was a time where, and I don't live in this house anymore, by the way. Stop, dude. Here, take a bone, please. I don't know, my wife might be home or something. I'm going to let him out. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Little dog interlude.
Dog interlude.
Dog interlude. That's all it is.
Someone's at the door, probably. So, anyways, as I was living there, just a lot of weird, creepy stuff. I am so sorry. That is such podcast info.
No.
I'm gonna have to go and get him here in a bit, so he didn't show anything else important to me. But he would always just tell me creepy stuff. Sometimes he would say his water bottles would fall off of just like fans. They would just pop off the top there. And one time I was sitting there, and I actually saw it happen. We were just sitting in the room, just like chatting about whatever music or some shit, and we just heard that thump, like a plastic bottle going off, and we were like, "What the fuck was that?" And it was like across the room from where we had the fan. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe that it happened. Dogs were going crazy. Who knows what that was? So, seriously, apologize for that. So, what was I saying?
Worries, man.
So,
We
yeah,
did it.
creepy things like that would happen. So basically, one of the creepiest things that would happen, at the house was that the dogs like this would just go wild, basically over nothing. So I would go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes I'd be watching some TV, and I had a miniature schnauzer, and then I had this little white dog. And my parents' bedroom was behind me, and then my little brother's room. And this I would say this was not like the first time that happened was that when I was telling you we were watching Max Payne and it was down the stairs. But I would say this was probably a couple months after that. So everything was still fresh in my mind and how creepy everything was starting to feel in the house. So this is where I think it could have been like a sleep paralysis thing for all I know. So as I'm like laying on the couch watching who knows what's on late that night, Man Show for all I know. So I'm watching TV. Parents are asleep. Little brother's asleep. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, and the dogs just start like getting up and growling. They're little dogs, and they only growl. You know, they're like little territorial dogs. Please don't bark. So I'm during this part of the story. So.
I know exactly how he feels.
Please.
Please. And the dog's just looking at you like,
oh, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I'm going to do it.
I'm scared too. So the dogs start growling. In that room next to the living room, which I was laying in, is our dining room. And it's pretty dark. It had a maroon kind of paint on it, so it was even darker. And the dogs start growling. I just feel like I can't move. Like, as I was saying before, like petrified almost, where I just could not move. I'm sweating, cold sweat. I can't say anything. My eyes are alert, but I can't move. And this was maybe like a shadow person kind of thing. It looked like a silhouette just kind of in the corner of the room. Oh man, it was like the best thing I could think of was like The Conjuring or something. It's just sitting in the corner. And I'm just like, moments that lasted almost felt like forever. And this maybe with like 10 seconds. I see it in the corner and I'm just, oh man, it's giving me chills. And I'm just like petrified, just sitting there and I'm sweating. I can't move. It's like in the corner and we're just staring. And then it just looks like it just kind of rolls over like it's on wheels or something. Just like it's like a cardboard cutout and it's just sliding over. And I just went out of my sight. I can't move. And the dogs are growling and whining. I hear like some footsteps and I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, like, what the fuck is going on? And I hear one of the doors open and close. And my parents get up. My mom did. She was like, are you walking around up here? And she's like, it looks like I saw a ghost clearly. Like I was just pale white. I couldn't move. And I feel like I remember this so vividly, but it was so late. It's like, she never asked me like, so what was that last night? You know, like I didn't ask about it. Like I would want to talk about it at the time. So I felt like that was one of the most surreal experiences ever in this house. And there was like one other thing, which I don't know also if that happened or if I was just having like kind of a bad dream. And I want to make sure to tell it before they start barking like crazy. But there was, okay, so I would say I was probably 19. And so I had a mirror. I was a little scene kid, you know, I would straighten my hair, jet black, you know, I looked like a fool. So I had this mirror, and on top of that mirror, since I was pretty scared of the dark at this time because of everything that was going on, I had like this Spencer's Gifts kind of electric skull, like, you know, where you put your hand on it and you're like the electricity goes to it. It would light up multiple different colors, like blue, green, red, and it would keep the room pretty well lit over the top of my mirror where I would shamefully straighten my hair. So as I'm usually just chilling, I would have times where I would wake up right around like 3 o'clock, and everyone's always like, "Oh, that's the spooky hour. That's when spooky stuff happens." Like I never really believed any of this stuff. I just was like, "What the hell's going on?" You know. But I don't want to admit what I think it is, or you know what I mean. I'm not going to say it out loud. I'm just not going to talk about it unless my friends say, "You hear about all that?" If they come over. So the store, so I'm trying to like give you a layout. So let's say a rectangle. In the middle is a king size bed. On the right side is the mirror where I had that electric light. Across from that, by my bed, is a little tube TV where you could kind of just see the reflection of everything. That had like an alarm clock over top so you could see what time it was. On the other side is just a corner and a window. That's it. So one morning I woke up, let's say like 3 in the morning or something, 2:30 in the morning. I felt like there was a time that I would wake up every single night, like clockwork. I'd just be like, why the hell am I waking up at this time? I always happen to look over and wake up, and it's this time. So in my tube TV, next to my knife, which I thought I was going to defend myself against, with against those ghosts, phantoms, I had the tube TV, and you could see my reflection as I opened my eyes to look at it. I hope this makes sense as I'm explaining it.
Yeah.
So as I look at the reflection, you can see the wall behind me because it's so well lit because of the light. And, I blink a couple times or whatever. And I'm just like, why am I up? Just ready to go back to sleep. And then it looks like there's like another fucking shadow person in the corner of the room. And it was like it was really short. The last one that I saw, the one I told you right before that, I would say it was like standing so close to the ceiling that it almost had its head bent over. It was weird. It almost didn't have a neck. It looked like a shadow. So it's as I'm like, I see this in the reflection of the television, the tube TV. I look over and I don't see anything, but I see it in the reflection. And it was just so fucking crazy to me. I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't know if I'm having a nightmare. This felt so real, guys. You know how many times you wake up from a dream and you're like, I can't even tell you what I don't know. I don't know what I had a dream about last night, but it was crazy. You remember certain ones, and that's why I don't know if it's real or not. But I grabbed the knife, and I feel like I'm just holding it as close as I can. It was like an old combat knife you get at like a gun show or something, way too big for me. So it just feels like pretty cold in the room. I don't know. I hear like walking and shuffling around and walking towards my steps that I was telling you about earlier. I don't see it at all. Out of the reflection, it was gone. I didn't see it move in the reflection. I just saw the shadow at one point, and then I look over and I couldn't see it, but I could hear it and I could feel the energy with it. This sounds so fucking ridiculous saying this stuff out loud every time. So I feel it, I hear it, I feel it, the cold, and I hear it walking, like it's shuffling feet. Definitely sounds like it has shoes on or something. And it gets to the wooden stairs and it just stops, like the noise stops. And I'm fucking terrified at this point. I got the knife on my chest. The lights in the electric light is my lifeline, this skull thing from Spencer Gibbs. And I am holding the knife close to me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm in the house completely by myself at this point. And I think it was like 5-10 minutes or something. I hear the door open at the base of the stairs and then closed again. And that was probably like the last thing I ever heard being at that house. It was just like the climax or something of the whole event. But little weird things would build up and like things you could say, like, I don't know if this happened. I don't know if that happened. But I'll tell you what, when I moved out of this place, which is a whole other story in itself, I moved out of this place. I didn't even look at the place before I rented it and signed the papers. I was like out, and it turned into like a nightmare scenario. I had to live with like 15 people in a 2-bedroom house, and it was a mess. So it wasn't like I was trading a poison for a poison. It felt like there, but I was so glad to be fucking out of that stuff. And I never really had something like that happen again.
When you left, there was a like literal weight lifted.
I would say the anxiety is done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's like that stuff was like kind of traumatizing, but you don't talk about it. I didn't want to talk about it, especially to my parents. I could tell my friends if they came over and said it, but I don't volunteer this information. Now I feel like I can talk about it because I've told the story so many times over the years on podcasts. It's just, You know, and it doesn't sound as crazy now when I think of things like sleep paralysis or
I was going to say earlier, you said that this sounds so ridiculous. And I was actually thinking at the same time, was like, man, I've heard a lot of these details and very recently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Multiple people have come forward with a scenario like this, and it's
especially we had one guest. It was actually Denny's cousin Scott. His what was his girlfriend had the same thing where she felt like something was on top of her, and she had that same thing. She couldn't move. She felt like she could like she can look around, but she could not move. But she felt like something was on top of her.
And then we had another guest that had the shadow people in his house that if he just didn't look directly at them, they were there. You know, so if he'd see them in his peripherals or peripheral, is that, what am I saying that right? Peripheral vision?
Right.
Yeah. So when he would walk through the house, if he was just glancing off the side, he would see him. But if he turned his head, there'd be nothing there.
Dude, here's some proof that did happen. I don't know. This is another thing where I don't know what I saw. Maybe I smoked a little too much weed that day. Who knows? My mom died during COVID, like 2.5 years ago. And
sorry to hear that.
It's all good. It's been long enough. So as we, like maybe a couple months afterwards, you know, I'd stay up late, play some video games or something, and you know, I'd walk down the hall towards my bathroom, and one time, I don't know, I was saying, like, it made me think of my mom for some reason, what I saw, but I don't want to say like a shadow person, but it looked kind of like someone was peeking outside over the corner of the door down the hall, like barely. Like it looked like a shadow, but it also looked 3D. You know what I mean? Like I could see the shape. It was really interesting. And like I said, I was smoking a lot of weed that day, and it could have been whatever. And, you know, I'm grieving. But when I saw that, I was like, shit, made me think of my mom for some reason. You've ever had people talk about that, where it's just like, I don't know what kind of energy that was, and who knows? I could be talking out of my ass for all I know, but I just have, this happened. Like, I don't have an explanation on it.
That's one of those things, man, where you knew what it felt like to be around her in your life. It's an unmistakable feeling for you. It's not up to chance. You know what it's like to be around certain people. So you only get those feelings if that person's around. You know, I've said this before, like we've only been using logic for, you know, a couple of like maybe 20, 30,000 years, absolute tops. We've been using instinct a lot longer. Yeah. If you would just from what you've described to me personally, and I have skin in this game. I will say that I have skin in that game. I would say it was her. If you felt her, it was her. That's just my opinion, though.
It's like a whole thing that I think about that sometimes. I'm like, man, is that shit real? You know, I mean, like I said, I don't have like a standard belief system. I would probably say, if anything, agnostic. Like whatever happens, happens. We'll see what happens. And but I shit like that would happen where it just makes there's vibes. I believe in energy. I absolutely believe in energy. There's been so many times where you probably go to like a party or something. You're just like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Intuition almost, you know? And I believe that vibes are, that it's a real thing for sure, you know?
Sure.
I've definitely had that, yeah.
You're a musician. A person who's a musician. This is the thing that's always gotten me.
Yeah.
A person who is a musician, 95% of their entire life is dedicated to vibrations, moving energy through sound, through the air. And if that same person comes to you and says, "Well, I don't believe in all that," for a person like me who I don't believe any of it's magic, guys. I can't. I just don't. Like I think there might be this afterlife thing, but I don't think it's supernatural. I don't think it's this fantastic, magic, whatever. I think it's science. It's energy being moved back and forth, and the energy we create with our lives and the things we manipulate and the things we affect. You can't walk out your front door without affecting 5 other people's day. And I think that energy is what that's all about. So that's the thing with me, with musicians and playing music, and we're all musicians here. We move energy through, and you know what it's like to play a live show. You're up on stage, man, up on this. I was center stage at Bogart's. I can't even hear the band because of the crowd screaming at me, and that energy is just coming at me. And it's uplifting and overwhelming. It's the only thing I can relate to a religious experience. And it's all going into me, and it's going right back out into them. And for this 35, 40 minutes up there, I could feel God.
It really is.
Has to be
describing it. Being up on and performing. You just kind of lose yourself up there, and it's very primal. Because like if you know your stuff well enough, you can just play it without even. You can do it behind your head. You know what I mean? You don't even have to be. You can be just shit faced, and you'll still nail it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I 100% believe that, and
move energy throughout our living lives. And I think that those who go to that other side, I think they continue to do the things that they love doing in this life. I think that energy goes forward, and it just continues to go forward until it reaches another, whatever is beyond that. I don't know. It's some form of evolution. It's something. Energy evolves. We evolve with it. I think we're just along for the ride.
Oh yeah, man. And
not to derail you, man. I'm sorry.
No problem.
You said some points that hit me, and I had to jump in.
We've definitely had more musicians on the show than non-musicians, I think.
Oh yeah.
In some way, form, or another. I mean, either they were a singer or played an instrument or both. I really feel like most of our guests have all been musical of some way.
Oh yeah. It's totally proves your point. Like when you hear frequency, and there's people out there that have like what they call perfect pitch, and they just kind of get it. You know what I mean? And it sounds. There's like, isn't there like forests or something? I'm not the biggest like cryptid guy. All right, I know some stuff, just because it's all fascinating to me. But I mean, aren't there like forests in like Japan that have like a frequency, or maybe I'm wrong, but there's like a frequency in some forest somewhere that makes people go crazy.
The suicide forest.
Yeah, the suicide. I thought
that's it. Yeah. So
it's at the base of a mountain.
Almost
it's
anything.
Primal, and there's so many things primal. Like, why are people naturally afraid of snakes? Because when people were hunter-gatherers, for example, snakes were a big deal for hundreds, maybe thousands of years.
Shout out to all of the cavemen that got bitten and died from snakes, so the rest of us could be here.
Yeah.
Nobody gives them any credit. They sacrificed their lives.
They did a lot of experimenting.
They ate stuff that wasn't good for them. They died. They got eaten by stuff that wasn't good for them, and they died. You know what I mean? Yeah. They fell off of stuff that was too high up. Stuff fell on them that was too high up.
They went to human trials like right off the bat. Like,
big
screw it.
Thank you for your sacrifice so that we could be here to do a podcast.
I'm doing a cheers to all the cavemen.
Right? I imagine they'd be so proud of us.
I'm proud of them. I think back of that, and I'm proud of them. They lived to be 15. Well,
yeah, man, that was a ripe old man back then.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't even have grandchildren. I'm only 15.
So here's an interesting story now that I remember. This for sure I heard, and it was freaky as hell. But in the house I moved into after, which I could tell you stories for days and days and days about this place. Not like spooky, just in general. It was a party house, crazy, best and worst times of my life kind of thing. But one day, I was downstairs. I think I was playing Splinter Cell Conviction. Shout out to Splinter Cell. Make another one. So when I was playing it, I was down in my little gremlin cave down at the house, and all the rest of the roommates were upstairs. Like, I guess, like, I was the only guy in the house, and the rest of the girls that were living in the house, they were upstairs, and they were doing, they said they were trying to do a seance. Now, I wasn't there for any of this. I've never participated in a seance. I don't,
That's a,
you know what
that's
I mean?
a red flag for those listening.
It's a red flag.
Yeah. I would have moved immediately.
You heard them, like, so right in the room they did that in was like right above my room, and the floor is so thin that if anyone spills a beer, it's going in my bedroom every time, and it sucks so bad. But you can hear absolutely everything. If people are staying up late, whatever. So while they were doing this, the room next to it was the only bathroom, and everybody's like shower gel and all this stuff was up there, and it was overcrowded and things. So as I'm playing the game, I hear like a bunch of shit fall into the bathroom, like into the bathtub. You know how it just slams, you can just hear it all echo and all that shit. It was loud, and I was like, damn. And then you hear all the girls scream, and I was like, what the hell is going on up there? Are they making a mess? I didn't know they were doing this seance that they said they were doing either. I just was playing Splinter Cell, minding my business, and they all run downstairs because I had a gun. I had a gun in the house, and they were scared. So they ran down to me, and they asked me to go check it out. And I was like, "You did what? What is going on?" That's what that was. They said they were doing it, and someone let go, and then they heard like a noise, like a grunt or something in the bathroom. Then everything fell down. I heard everything fall down. So it's like, did this really happen? And so I go up there and check it out. Yeah, everything was all over the shower.
Patrick, did you have like, not a fucking again? God damn it! Did you have one of those moments? Like you're getting your gun together and you're like, God damn it, not again! Here we go.
Already with this shit, you know? Well, I was just like at this now I love shooting, you know. I go shooting all the time, but at this time, like, a gun was a new thing, and I did not want to bring this out. Like, I didn't want anyone in the house to know that I even had it. I just had a roommate that knew I had it, because when you have like a party house, you don't want anybody to know where that stuff is, because it's not a toy, as you guys probably know. So when I had to take this out, it was a big deal. Like, they thought someone it was just the timing of them doing this so-called seance, and then the shower noise and stuff. So they didn't know if someone broke in, or, you know what I mean? I don't know what was going on. So I go and check it out, and yeah, it was just like a bunch of stuff all over the shower. It was weird. I heard it, you know what I mean? And you hear how skeptical I am on all this stuff, but I hear and have experienced this stuff.
Yeah, I totally get that though. It's I think it's built into us. Even when the shit's happening, we're like, nah, it's probably not. You're like, drink comes floating into the room.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, thank you. I'm sure that's just a feature they have.
I just want to know, did they think that your bullets are like blessed by holy water or something?
It's like that same stupid thing where I had the knife on me. Like, I was going to charge a phantom or something. It's just like, it's a primitive defense mechanism. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like a dog chasing cars almost. You know what I mean? You just have it, and you don't know what you're going to do with it. But better watch out, Phantom, because I'm going to come and slash you, you know?
Yeah. I get that like a lot, because I hate the dark. If I'm alone in the dark and I hear noises, I'm just a swinging. Hopefully Grandma doesn't walk by, because I'm decking her, because I can't stand sounds when I can't
Don't
see.
you hit Grandma, God damn it.
Yeah, she's getting
a
black
she likes
eye.
wandering around through the dark.
Well, you need to tell her to wear a cowbell or something, because I'm hitting her.
Gotta get her a granny bell.
Let me ask you guys a question. My dog is freaking out over here. Let me ask you guys a question. So I would assume that people that have lost their sight or are born blind don't turn on lights whatsoever. Do they experience like kind of hauntings or any like kind of stuff that we just even talk about? Or is that, I don't know. I just thought about it. That's food for thought.
It is
worth a
definitely
Google.
Something worth looking into.
It's worth a Google.
Yeah.
For the Google, man.
I feel
Someone
like
asked
they
you-
always say that their like senses, like all the other senses, are heightened because you lost one, because it's trying to basically take up the, I guess, the load.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to lean towards maybe, but I don't think. I mean, like you ain't haunting Daredevil, dude.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You're a ghost.
Unhauntable.
What are you gonna do with him, dude? He fights like supervillains. He ain't gonna be afraid of like
Yeah.
the rest of us. You know, like if something falls in the middle of the night, we're like, "Wah!"
He's blindly jumping off 6-story buildings. You think he gives a
He's-
shit about a
Yeah,
phantom?
he don't give a shit about that.
I'm just
He's a
saying,
Daredevil. You know?
he could be a parkour champion.
Oh,
Oh yeah, maybe a ghost
Yeah.
that keeps up with him.
you know. There's
Hardcore.
I mean, there's definitely a lot of story arcs that we could go with here, but I don't know. I mean, I wonder. I mean, do we even have an example of that, or a person who's deaf, maybe? You know what I mean? If they see things move, or if anything, you know, that is actually something to look
Like,
into.
They have like all these heightened senses, and like, what other things do they notice that we don't? You know what I mean? And there's like creatures out there that have like they can see colors that we can't even imagine, like the mantis shrimp. You know, I'm like, what the hell do they see? What's going on with that? But let me ask you guys this. Speaking of like all the creepy talk, I wanted to ask you guys' opinions on UFOs. Like, I think I saw one like 2-3 months ago, and it was. I don't know if it was real or not. Maybe it's because I just really, really want to see a UFO, and I'm just like, that's a UFO, and it could have been any. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be one. But are you guys
what did it look
Cincinnati?
like? Northern
Are
Kentucky.
you guys? Are you guys in the? Okay, so
Yeah.
I'm right up in Cincinnati. There is this road called Ronald Reagan, and it is like a busy highway. And there's my pup. So stop. So I was driving home in traffic one day, and when I was driving home, it was kind of like a twilight kind of, it was right before the times changed, and so it was getting dark, right around like 6-7 o'clock. So it would get like that purple kind of color in the sky, and you could see like the stars a little bit, but you could see all like the planes flying around. You could see the little trail behind them and stuff. And so I was just kind of looking up while I was stuck in traffic, and it looked like there was this super bright star. And I was just thinking, wow, that's a really bright star for 6:30, and it just turns off. It's like the light just vanished. It just disappeared. I had to do like a double take, and I'm trying to drive at the same time. And I'm like, what the hell? And so I look back up at it, and it just reappears. I see the light reappear, this big bright light. I wear glasses, so it could be a plane for all I know. But I was just like, what the hell? And as I'm like about to grab my phone to take a picture, like, no one's going to believe this. It disappears and I didn't see it again. But I'm always looking at the sky now. I was like, what was that? What the hell was that?
We've definitely had a lot of people on the phone and send us messages, send us video, especially down in southeast Kentucky and southwest Kentucky. There's some kind of moving light thing that's going on like every day for the last year. Whether or not you said your question was do we believe in UFOs?
Right.
I think that I mean if we really dissect that question, we could say that do I believe that a flying object that's unidentified exists? Yes.
Okay.
But
right.
if we're saying UFO in the context of extraterrestrial, I would have to say yes.
It's like
I'm willing to jump out there on that one.
Surely there's life somewhere out there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about the probability, and you know how many planets to discover, and you know how big everything, it's infinite. It's like you can't ever comprehend how large it is. You can barely comprehend how large your own state is, but it's just like impossible to think that. Now, whether they come to stupid, boring ass Earth, who knows? But that was like so weird to me. I had like one other time where I feel like I may have saw one, but I don't know. It just was weird. I'm by the Wright Pat base. I think that's up by Springboro. I was up there at someone's house, and we had binoculars, and we were looking at the Air Force Base, and they were had helicopters flying around and stuff, and we're like, "What is that? Whoa!" And in the sky, you know how like a plane has a little trail behind it if it's really really far away. It looked like it was flat, and it looked like it just kind of completely turned, including the cloud behind it, upside down. And then it went into a cloud, and we didn't see it again. But it was so far away. I was like, "What the hell was that?" It was weird. We watched with the binoculars, and we're like, "Did we just see that? What was that?"
I think that now, especially, I mean, this year, last year, the last couple of years, I think people are coming around to it. You know,
Good.
I mean, even what was it? I had this saved for our last episode, and we ended up pushing it off. But you guys familiar with the object seen? It was October 2017. It was a large, like oblong object. I mean, it's like a cylinder. It was massive, and it was. They say the estimate was around 3,000 feet long, maybe 548 feet wide, and it passed through our solar system. Okay, observed by NASA. Okay, the name of it is like Oumuamua. Like this is insane, right? You guys familiar with this? Okay.
Yes.
So Oumuamua, which is just fun to say, try it at home, actually did something. So as it's coming through our solar system, we got NASA, we got all these observational places all over the world are watching it, and they're like, "Man, that is a really neat, outer solar object."
I'm going to stop you real quick. You're missing an amazing opportunity to be a weather girl. You could be like turned and using your. You could be using your.
Yeah. You're right. Okay, so imagine that's Jupiter, and it's way too close to Earth, but ignore that for now. It's not important yet, or ever. Okay, so this thing was way out here, behind the Kentucky X-Files logo. All right, so it comes cruising in through the solar system, right? And all these people watching, they're watching on their telescopes, they're taking measurements, they're getting their calculators out, and they're fucking adding stuff, and they're literally going, "This is a really unique asteroid. This is so cool. We've never
Didn't it have a trajectory?
And it goes around the Earth, and it goes over to the sun, and they're like, "Wow, man, we're probably never going to see it again because it's on this orbit, you know?" And then it gets to the sun, and it stops, and then it turns and goes a different direction.
Mothership.
And
call Jeff Goldblum.
It's so funny because this is 2017 this happens in, and the scientists are going, "Hey, shit doesn't do that. Asteroids don't do that. They don't stop and throw her in reverse and, do a turnabout. What's going on here?" Now, they've been studying the trajectory and everything ever since, and they've been willing to come out and say that, hang on, I can actually read you guys the quote. I thought this was just amazing. Okay. They said it displayed non-gravitational, what do you call it? Where the hell is it? I just scrolled and lost it, like right as I was reading it. Non-gravitational acceleration.
It's like, what does that even mean?
It means
what are you telling me, NASA? Like,
yeah. So, like our space shuttle, does non-gravitational acceleration when it's trying to get where it needs to go, and then when it turns around and goes back, it uses non-gravitational, acceleration. And the reason it does is because it's not an asteroid. Asteroids just use whatever they got, whatever energy is in them. That's what they're using. And gravity of planets and mass will grab them and accelerate them even faster. But not even once in the observable universe have we seen an object go flying in and go, "Oh, that's a sun. Let's go this way." Not even once.
It was like, oops.
Yeah, it's almost like they went in to take a look at it, or maybe take a measurement or something. And then recently they said that now the government is saying we are open to the possibility that there could be an alien mothership in our solar system.
I read that, and I was like, is this some bullshit?
I searched and searched and searched. I was on a mission to debunk this. I was like, oh, you sons of bitches out there getting, clickbaiting bastards. I hate your guts. And I looked, and every time I got to the end, I was back on a government website again. I was like, oh, shit.
It could just be like a theory thing. I'm sure they have like open forums among like other astronomers and people that just look at the sky, because there was always someone looking at the sky.
Yeah,
and
it is not a confirmed thing. No, it is a theory, and they're basing it off of the amount of these crazy lights that everybody's seeing, the unexplained lights and the unexplained movement. They're basing it off of that because they're basically saying that there's no way to send this many probes unless you're just right outside somewhere hanging out.
Yeah, like they just go to solar system and just kind of send out probes, kind of like you would if you're playing Mass Effect or something. You're sending just looking around. It could be like nothing at all. You know what I mean?
You know how it could be easily you could hide a ship from one of our probes floating around one of those planets right now?
Yeah, it's probably like
it would be so easy. It would be a joke. They would be like, oh man, they got one of their probes coming. They'd be like, dude, go around the other side of the planet. Trust me, they haven't thought about this.
Curvature of the Earth.
Yeah, they're not that far ahead. We can avoid their probes. They probably think we're an asteroid. You know what I mean?
It's probably harder to lose the cops in GTA.
Watch this. I'm going to do a turnabout at the sun, and I guarantee they're still going to be arguing about it in a week.
Oh, yeah.
Aliens are running on cheat codes, and, we barely just got started.
Well, I don't personally think that they're actually there.
So there was like a picture of that big object that did fly through the solar system. Was that just an artist rendition? I mean, was it just something they caught on like a radar or something?
The only like real picture we have is, if I can get this, I'll throw it up here. 1 second. I think I got it, but we'll see. Yeah, this is the only actual picture. It's gonna be hard to discern here, but
I played that game.
Yeah,
it looks like kind
of like Pong.
Like static from like a VHS tape.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly what we're supposed to be looking at, but apparently there's multiple things in here that we're supposed to see and automatically know what they mean.
Is it the dot or the lines?
It's the only way they could declassify.
Yeah,
it's redacted. The spaceship is redacted.
Yeah, it's probably because it was in space. They had to use a white marker to redact them. You know what I mean?
Is actually the shape of a giant pair of titties, so they had to censor it.
Yeah.
So
we lost him. Did he get censored? There we go.
There we go.
We're watching your stream.
Our guest got redacted.
Getting paranoid. I remember my mom once telling me there's one other story I got for you, UFO wise. My mom, before she passed, she told me this. And she is a God-fearing woman. So her saying this was totally out of left field for me. And she said when she was like 20, her and her friends were like driving up to Chicago for some sort of country concert or something. And she got woken up by her friend, and she was like, look out the window. And they said they saw a light. So they're going down like a long forest kind of path, like there's no lights on it, it's just in the middle of the woods deep, and it's just a long ass road. And they were driving through this long ass road at night, and they saw this light. They said that was, I don't know, the size of a volleyball or something, just like weaving in and out of the trees, while it like at the same speed that they were going in their car. And she said that it happened for miles. And I was just like, okay, Mom.
That's pretty wild.
This was before I really even, before a couple months ago, where I was like, did I just see one?
Yeah.
Did I just really see one? I'm not sure what I just saw. That felt very UFO-y.
It's pretty cool, man. I mean,
yeah.
there's people are seeing them. We get messages about it a lot. We get videos sent to us, pictures. I don't know, man.
I feel like out of all of us, I'm the only one that hasn't really seen anything in the sky, other than that time me and Denny kind of saw something outside of
That was pretty
Josh's
weird.
house. That was a little weird.
You mean the electric station disturbance that wasn't even where that was happening? I don't know. I still think that's weird, man. I don't know what that was, but it was fucking weird.
It's just a lot of unexplained things just happen. And that was like the whole point of like what I was saying this whole podcast that you've had me on. And again, I'm sorry about the dog. I'm sorry to keep looking away. He chewed up my favorite. I have a really nice speaker system I was going to get on the pod with, and he chewed him up like a week ago. Worst timing ever. So I'm like, I'm watching him like a hog. So I'm watching him like an alien, the mothership, and he's looking at her, you know.
He has to give up his life of crime. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You just can't have a talk with him.
But the whole thing is like just weird, unexplained things just happen, and you can't really explain it. It's hard to know. It's hard to say you even believe, you know, because it's like, am I just going crazy? Am I just seeing things? Am I smoking too much weed? Like, I don't know.
I think you're right.
You know, it's something I always wanted to see, though. I mean, I'm a little into cryptids, all right. So I like reading into them. I think like Bigfoot's fascinating, you know.
Yeah.
Not saying I believe it or that I've never seen it or something, but oh man, I feel like that makes me scared to go in the woods at night, you know, because I'm like, there's going to be some sort of Sasquatch out there. He's going to take me, rip me in half, and eat me whole. Yeah. You know, it's always creepy to me to imagine that there's a big creature out there doing that.
When you dive into that subject with the communities involved with that subject, you are in for the ride of your life.
I think I could probably speak for most of us, at least, that we really like Bigfoot. We just don't care for his fan club.
It gets pretty rough. Yeah, there's some folks out there I can say are pretty neutral and pretty fair about it. You know, Brian, I will bring up Brian, Sasquatch Odyssey. He likes to gather up, you know, every side of the argument and just. He kind of stays right there and he just takes it all in. And I don't know what he personally feels, but I like his approach. There's some that are a little fanatical that go, in my opinion, way too far, especially some of the ones up north.
Very gatekeepy kind of thing.
Turned it into kind of a business, you know. I don't know. It's weird. There's only a few out there that are actively open that they believe, and those I would say there's about 5 of them that are open like that are saying like I fully believe I've seen. Okay, half of those, I'm being very vague, not to hurt any feelings out there, but half of those I believe they saw something.
There's just some people that just sound so genuine. It's like I don't know if they're lying. And you know, there's a good example of that is Bob Lazar. I cannot tell. Are you lying? Are you lying right now? You don't seem like a liar, but are you? Are you
Bob Lazar is a fascinating subject because when that all came out, everybody, including myself, was like, "This guy's so full of shit. Screw this dude. Whatever, man. You're wasting my time." And then as time started to pass, and the shit that he said was starting to happen, and to the point that he said it would, that's when I started going. Huh.
So that's nonchalant.
Yeah. Like,
what was that like element that he was talking about that we couldn't make it? Yeah, but then crazy element. And then now they're saying that it could be it could be made, but we can't personally make it.
The funny thing was, I remember back then when him talking about the element on some news show, and he literally sketched or like drew what the element, you know, where the molecules were, and like showed it. And I can't remember, you know, what that looked like. But man, if I could find that and compare it to what they actually found, if it was similar, I'd be sold. I'd be like, yep, okay, you're right.
Yep.
Sorry, Bob.
so kind of circling back around. I'm sorry, segueing here. There was a time where I was like terrified something was going to happen in the wood. Now this, do you mind if I tell like a quick story that it's not Bigfoot related, but it's just like why I'm so scared of the woods. You know, I may or may not have had a bear or cougar attack almost happen.
Yeah.
And this happened last year. Went on like a week long. So I'm terrified of the woods in general at night because I'm like, well, what if there is a fucking.
Oh.
I believe the cougar did get him in the end, guys.
Oh, God.
It looks like we lost him.
Dang it.
That was the ultimate cliffhanger.
That was. I hope that he did that on purpose.
Oh no, it's not looking good, folks. It's not looking good. He's muted. He's unmuted. We've got a black screen here. I don't know what to do. Let's give him a couple minutes, and if he doesn't make it back, I guess we'll leave it as a cliffhanger. Maybe get him back on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Patrick has been redacted.
Oh no.
Let's see if he joins back up.
I will.
But
I mean, you can't deny that was a good cliffhanger.
that was.
I wouldn't even be mad at him if he did that on purpose.
And it was at the hour mark. So it's like, he was like,
Yeah.
all right, here's what
Yeah.
I'm going to do. Click.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll be back.
Here's the artist rendition.
I was gonna say-
He got away from the cougar. He
Yeah,
escaped.
you got it. Yeah.
Okay. We thought
I
the
don't know what
cougar
happened
came
there.
back and got you.
No, I was trying to hop off real quick so that way I cock tease you all.
Yeah.
We were like, that was the ultimate cliffhanger.
Yeah.
I'm probably the worst podcast guest right now. My dog's barking. I got shitty service.
No,
I
you're
promise
good,
it's
you're
not
good.
normally like this.
No, we thought it was great. We figured that was a hell of a way to get back on the show again on another time. Like, I'm just going to cliffhanger.
Yeah, perfect.
That would have
And
been
then this
like
happened.
genius, too.
So we were
Stay
on.
tuned.
So me and my wife, we were on like a trip. We got married like last year, a year and a half ago, over a year ago, and we went on like this week long trip where we just got to stay in a cabin for the whole week, and it's just so much better than like just staying for a couple days. Like you get a whole week, and it's like perfect seclusion out there. And so we were like, let's do that again. So we booked another cabin to go. It was like over, I would say, close to Red River Gorge. It was really close to that. So we're like 20 minutes off of any main road or a road that gets to a main road. And it's like real secluded back there. No one's back there during the week. It's definitely like a weekend cabin spot, you know? So we felt very alone out there. It was creepy as hell going out at night to let the dog go pee. So as we were there, we would take the puppy on for a walk. This is right when we just got him, so he's real small. He's he's an Australian Shepherd, so he's very reactive. And he was just kind of tugging. We were taking him for a walk down the dirt path, you know, this road. It's all like gravel and dirt. And like I said, there's no one back there. It's all overgrown around the sides too. So you just barely had you had very limited visibility on all sides. And as we're walking the dog, he's being like really reactive. And as we were talking about earlier, you ever have like just that bad feeling like, damn,
Yeah.
something doesn't feel right. I got a bad feeling. And when I got a bad feeling, something bad's going to happen. You know, I have bad feelings for a reason. And he's like kind of freaking out. And me and my wife, we were talking about something. She just got here, so I'm sorry. Let me let him out.
Patrick's gonna make me edit. What he's doing?
Sorry.
He's making me edit.
Cougar! Cougar! So as we were walking, he starts like kind of just jumping ahead, and I'm just like yanking him back and stuff. And as I'm yanking him back, I turn to my wife and I just say, you want to turn around? Like, I got a bad feeling. You know, I just got this bad feeling. She's like, oh, it's fine. How many times do you watch Alone or Survivor and no one ever gets attacked by a bear, you know? And I'm like, that's very true. And why would that, I mean, Red River Gorge, why would that happen to me? So good point. So we keep walking. Maybe like 20, 30 feet further from that was like a fork or kind of like a intersection in the road. One that was going up this hill, which had a little bit of visibility, but it was really high brush. and the street was all dilapidated, and the other sides were, you know, just continuing on. And I just got this bad feeling. We turned the corner. My dog, the puppy, he's in instinct mode. He is ready to pounce, and I'm just like, I'm like, holy fuck. I'm ready to go. I'm being nonverbal towards my wife on this whole thing. I'm just like ready to go. I'm ready to pull my dog out of the way if something jumped out of here. Like I was just ready to go, and nothing happened yet, you know. So my wife, she's like, "What's going on?" And the best way that I can describe this, so up on the top of this hill, it's all this really tall grass. Okay, you've seen Jurassic Park, I'm assuming, right? So you know, like the scene where they fed the cow to the Velociraptor pen, and all that brush was there, and it all moved towards. So we're sitting there, and you just see from the top of the hill, all this brush just rushed down towards us, heading down to me, and we're like just silent. You know, we're like, oh, what the fuck? And I'm holding on to the dog, ready to pull, and it's just going down. He's growling, he's freaking out, and it stops right at the edge of the bush, and we had no idea what it was, and we were like, let's go, let's get out of here. So I just walked backwards the whole walk back because I didn't bring my pistol on me this particular walk. I just happened to not have it on me. Carried it on me for the rest of the trip, I'll tell you that. But that was so fucking scary, man. I had no idea what it was. It could have been a squirrel for all we know. Yeah. We're telling ourselves maybe it was a squirrel, but that felt like something was lurching at me, and
sounds like a bluff charge.
Exactly. Yeah, something.
Calm down, Bigfoot.
So I don't know what it was. It was a little Bigfoot. It was a little foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating, man. Patrick, I tell you what, man, I really appreciate you coming on with us and sharing this stuff, man. It's really cool to get to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Again, I apologize about the dog and the service. Love to come back anytime you want.
That'd be great.
Figured out.
You got stuff on your end that you're into, right? You want to promote some stuff?
Yeah, sure. So if you go to my Instagram, go to Dark Mountain Called. I do art. I make mood mats. I make beer glasses, challenge coins for the military and stuff like that. Go check it out. I share all my other ventures on there too. I also host a podcast. It's a dark comedy video game podcast that I do for fun nowadays called Game Pass or Smash. So go ahead and check that out. It's on Spotify and it's on iTunes as well. Pretty much anywhere you can stream it. So I would recommend, please, if you like hearing from me, go ahead and check that stuff out.
Oh yeah, I actually was on there listening to your episode on Scorn.
That's the best one.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's awesome, man.
If you do listen to if you do want to take a listen to the show, it's a full spoiler show. Just watch a trailer of the video game and before you watch it, if you don't care about the game, because honestly, it's just it's a bro pod. We're having a good time. We're gushing, and if we're gushing about games, or we're talking a whole lot of shit about them, and it's just so much fun.
It's awesome, man. Fun. I enjoyed it, man. I appreciate you being on here with us, bud. And we're coming up to about how long we do each episode for. So, I'd like to definitely get you on the hook to get you to come back on with us.
Absolutely.
One night soon. You know,
anytime.
Awesome.
Next time, maybe I'll have my setup all figured out. Definitely won't have to deal with that. But I really, really appreciate you guys having me on. You guys seem awesome. Good luck to all you. Much love.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you, man. You take it easy and have a good night.
Yep.
Peace out, y'all.
Later.
See you.
It's pretty cool, man. I mean, some interesting stories.
Yeah.
You know,
I didn't think he had that many stories, but man, he has a lot of stories.
Pretty awesome. I mean, I like one thing I like when listening to him was he actually gives you the layout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like he tries to put you right where he was when it happened. And I like that. I appreciate those details and, you know, in hearing experiences. You out there, I'm sure somebody out there's listening has had experiences. You need to get at us. You really need to email us encounters at KentuckyXFiles.com, KYXFiles.com. Send it to us. You can send us messages straight to our website. You can send us voice messages. You can get us on Facebook now. You can get us anywhere. We got the KYX phone, man.
You know why I believe him? Because he was given details that nobody would admit to. unless they were true. He watched a Mark Wahlberg movie.
I knew that he was about to say, but I like Mark Wahlberg, but that Max Payne sucked ass.
And he admitted to watching it. Like, why would you embellish a story and choose that movie?
Right. Say hi to your mom for me, okay?
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
I'm Max Payne. I'm gonna kick your ass. Say hi to your mom for me.
say hi to your grandma, okay? All right. So I gotta roll out, fellas.
Yep.
You guys out there, appreciate you. Take care of each other. We're all each other's ass.
Mwah.
See you guys.
Mark Wahlberg. He's just a cheap copy of Matt Damon. You think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to at the Wahlberg get him to take my order. What are you guys having? What do you want? What does your mom want?